Hello everyone, it's Dawn with Shall We Stamp. Let me turn my comments on. There we go, and it's a little bit before 7. Well, actually I've got 7 o'clock, but we'll just give it another minute or two. If you're on, please make a comment and let me know that you're there. Pardon me for moving around. I'm just trying to get my camera organized so I can see. And make sure my chamois is wet so I can do some cleaning with it. All right. I hope everybody is staying warm today. Here in Central Florida, it's been cold. And I know for you northern folks or out west or Indiana, hi, how you doing? And hey, Rosalie, it's cold here in the villages of Florida. It's the central part of the state. It is like 53 degrees outside. I know y'all don't think it's cold, but for us it is. So I'm having a hard time keeping warm. But anyways, we are going to deal with it. So we'll give it another 30 seconds or so and then we'll get started. Hello, Miss Amy from Virginia. We'll start here in about 30 seconds, and I'm going to show you all. I've never seen this. It's a double Z fold. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that or not, but I've not seen one. So I saw one this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and make that for you all. And then I'm going to do another Christmas card. So just in case you don't have enough Christmas cards made. So anyways, I hope everyone's doing well. I got to do our pre-order from Stampin' Up. Are anyone on a demonstrator? If you are, please let me know. Send me a comment. I forgot to do the drawing, so I will do that when we hang up for last week, and then I'll post that on my site tomorrow, and I apologize for that. And then I'll also do so. What I would ask is if you all would share the video, then your name will go in the drawing for that. And if you leave a comment, I will draw from those that leave comments as well. So I appreciate it. It helps me reach more people, and hopefully that I can share the love of stamping with others and they learn something. So anyway, so today we as demonstrators were able to order from our mini catalog, which we used to call the Occasions catalog. And if you're familiar with Stampin' Up, starting in January, we go into celebration where, you know, for every $50 you spend, you get to choose a free stamp set out of the celebration catalog. And there are some really nice stuff that we've got in the catalog this year. Y'all are going to be so impressed. So I placed my order for that today. And they do have a really nice incentive if you decide you want to join. And if you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to have you join my team. And you don't have to do what I do. And you don't have to sell. I mean, you just have to, you know, get a few people to help you make your quota each month or every quarter. But they're offering a mini trimmer, well, our new trimmer, but it's in a smaller version. And this is the first time they've ever done that, is a paper share of all of the papers in 6x6 format. And you also get to choose a stamp set from one of the regular catalogs. That's an incentive on top of getting $125 worth of product for $99, and they pay shipping. So I thought I'd throw that out there. If you are interested and would like some more information, you can just Facebook message me privately, and I'll reach out to you and get you some more information. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get started since it's a little after. Let me switch my camera. Excuse my finger. Let me switch my camera over to the table. Okay, if you decide to order from me, if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to earn your business. And this is my host code for December. And anytime you place an order through my store, if you, I'll send you a gift. And then if you place really any dollar amount, it doesn't matter to me. Well, it does, but you know, anyways. But if you order from me and use the host code, then I use the rewards that come through to purchase gifts to send out to everyone that places an order. Now, if your order is $150 or more, then you don't want to use my host code because you want to be able to get those rewards yourself. But I'll still send you a gift, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to cover up the December so I can get that in there. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. This morning I made a double Z fold, and this is using the Sia Silhouette paper and Poppy Parade. I haven't used this Poppy Parade. You know, we used to have this several years ago, and I really like the color, and I keep forgetting that it's there to use. So what it is when you open it up, a Z fold, you know, it's like that, right? You see it looks like a Z. But when you open it, you've got 2 layers. And I have not seen this before. If y'all have seen this, let me know. Shoot me a message or shoot me a comment and let me know. But I thought this was really cute. So I'm going to move this aside and we're going to go ahead and get a card made. And we're going to use, let me get out my paper trimmer. Now this is the new paper trimmer from Stampin' Up. So the one that you can get is a mini version of this one if you join my team. And I think that's a really great thing that they're doing. Because, you know, when you start out, when I joined, I didn't know anything about stamping. And I didn't have a trimmer. And to get a trimmer with the papers, with the designer series papers, oh my gosh, it would have been in a stamp set. That makes everything, that's all you need to get started, to stamp. So, anyways, this is from the Perennial Essence paper. And I'm going to use, we're going to cut this down. And then I'm using Petal Pink. And I'll write all the I'll give you the dimensions, but I'll also put those on the video when I post it, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our Petal Pink and we're going to score it. No, we're not. We're going to cut it at 5.5 because I need to score it a different way for this fold. So we're going to put it in the paper trimmer at 5.5, which is right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and let me get my cutter up there, and I'm going to pull this down and cut. All right, now we're going to turn it, and we're going to score at 2 1/8. So let me pop this up here. All right, so we're going to put it in here and score at 2 1/8, which is the 2 marks less than a quarter. So we're going to make a score mark here at 2 1/8, and then we're going to score at 4 1/4, which would have been our normal scoring mark anyways, right? So we've got 4 1/4. 4 1/4 right there. Okay, so we're going to score that right there. All right, so we're going to fold our card in half, and let me move this out. Well, hey, hang on. Let me just do my other scoring real quick. We're going to take a piece of Whisper White, and this is going to be 3 3/4. And I think I need to trim this down just a little bit. So we're going to do 3 1/2, 3 3/4. And you always want to make sure your paper, hopefully y'all can see, but you probably can't see the bottom, but you want to make sure it's lined up at the top and the bottom, okay? So this is a little bit off, so I'm going to cut that. And now we're going to turn it, and we're going to cut it to, oops, I need to open my arm for this one. You need to cut it at 6.5, okay? So we're going to turn our paper 3 3/4, and then we're going to cut it at 6.5. All right, so we'll go ahead and cut that. Now, we're going to come back and do the same scoring that we did on the other card. So we're going to come back and score at 2 1/8. So, whoops, let me move my paper cutter out of the way. So we're going to score at 2 1/8 and then move it down to 4 1/4, which should be right about there. Let me get it up. All right, so we've got 4 1/4. Okay, that's all we need to do. Now I'm going to move this out of the way so we have room to operate. All right, so, okay, and let me move this out of the way. Move my scraps out of the way. All right, so we've got our card base, and we're going to fold that in half at the 4 1/4 mark. And I always make sure my ends are lined up, and then, because sometimes it's off just a little bit, and then I use my bone folder to give it a good crease. And then we'll just take that part we scored at 2 1/8, and we're just going to fold that back. And you know what I realized I did? I did not cut our paper, so I've got to pull the paper trimmer back out. So you get to see that one more time. All right, so you're going to score it, fold it at your 4 1/4, and then just fold this piece back at 2 1/8, which gives you that Z fold. Okay, let me get the paper trimmer back. Sorry about that. We need we need to cut this. So we're going to use this paper, and we're going to just cut one piece down to our normal 4 by 5 1/4. So we are going to cut this at 4 inches. All right, and then we're going to turn it and cut it at 5 1/4, right? Because that's going to be the piece that's going to go on the inside. And I'm going to cut a little bit of the flowers off because I want some of that 5 1/4 right there. All right, so we're going to cut that at 5 1/4. And then the other piece, you're going to have another piece of DSP. It's going to be 2 inches. So it's going to be, we're going to cut this at 2 inches, which it already is. And then we're going to cut this down to 3 3/4, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it should be 3 3/4. Let me measure that real quick. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, 3 3/4. No, it's going to be, should be 3 1/2. All right, so we're going to cut this at 3 1/2. Ooh, that's going to cut off a lot of my flowers, isn't it? I'm going to turn it and cut some of this blue off. So let me do that because I'm going to cut a little bit. I still want to have some of that, but I'm going to cut a little bit of that off, and then I'll cut this down to 3 1/2. 3 1/2. Sorry about that. So we're going to do this at 3 1/2. Okay. All right. Okay, now I think we're done with our cutting. So we'll move these scraps out of the way. Put those there. All right. So now we've got all our pieces cut. Now we're going to take the white piece and we're just going to fold on the score lines like we did, like you do. And then this one we're going to fold back, okay? And then we're going to burnish that. Now you see how one is sticks out a little bit longer right here. I don't know if y'all can you see that? Let me see if I can turn it for you. Can you see that right there? Whoop, let me get it in the camera. That would help with it. I think it's kind of hard with the white. But this piece right here is a little bit longer. So we're going to flip it over. And that's how we're going to add it. We're going to put that longer part right here. Okay. But the first thing we're going to do, let me pull my sleeves up, is we're going to attach this to the inside of our card. Okay. And I apologize. I have to do it this way because I try to do it upside down, but I can't place it without getting it crooked. So let me go ahead and put the adhesive. Sometimes I have to stand up. So we want to place this 4 by 5 1/4 in, and we're going to place it right there. Whoops, see? It's already looking like it's crooked. That's why I like the snail. Sometimes I can just get it lifted up pretty quickly if I don't put a lot of pressure down. So let's try this one more time. Get it straight so I can see. All right, we're going to put that right about there. I think we're good. Okay. All right, so there's our piece there. It's still crooked, isn't it? Must be my eyeballs. It's over here on this side right here. I'm not putting it down straight. So give me 1 minute. We're going to try this 3 times the charm. So let's try and see if that's going to work. There we go. Okay, now we got it. Really, I'm not that much of a perfectionist, but apparently I am. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, oh, you know what I did? No, that's right. I'm thinking, not making sense. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and again take the one that's a little bit longer and we're going to place it right here, and you just want to get it where it's centered. And you think it's centered, and I'm going to stand up again. So I think that's going to look good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my hand here, and then I'm going to fold this back, and I'm going to make sure it's straight. Okay, now I'm only going to add adhesive on this part right here because I don't want it on here because we want that to open up, right? So I'm just going to put some adhesive on this side here. Now you could place it on this part here, but I'm not so good about doing that. So I'm just going to do it this way because I'm a little bit more comfortable. And I want to make sure I've got it in here straight. And then I'm just going to push down on that. Okay. And then we're going to fold it over, and I'm just going to flip the card this way. And I'm going to add the adhesive to the back of the white cardstock. And that's going to glue that down onto the base right here. Okay. So I'm just going to flip this over and then push that down and get it to stay. And then we've got our double fold. Isn't that easy? It's just so easy. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add, better put that the right way, we're going to add our little piece of designer paper. So let me put some adhesive on this. See, these cards are really, you know, it's all in the folds and having the materials that match. And that's the one thing that I love about Stampin' Up! Is that everything color coordinates and you don't have to think about it. You just look at the back of the paper or whatever cardstock and it tells you what colors coordinate, or the designer series paper, I should say. All right, so we're going to place that on there. So that's the start of our card. And look, you could really write a message if you wanted before you tack this down. If you wanted to write a long note, you have plenty of room to do that. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do, the colors in here are Blueberry Bushel, Flirty Flamingo, and I was going to try that, but it just didn't go well with this color, so that's why I chose to use the Petal Pink. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make this into a birthday card. So I am going to, my dog is back here having a choking fit, I think. So anyways, let me open up my berry bushel here. And so I'm going to use, and this is a stamp set if you're a new stamper and just learning to stamp. Here's a card, and this is a great stamp set because it's got a lot of different sentiments. It's got congratulations, birthday, thank you, thanks, and different things. And I love this one that says, I made you a card because you're worth it. I just think some of these are cute cards, but we're going to make the birthday. We're going to use that one there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel. I apologize. And I'm just going to ink up my happy birthday stamp. And I've got some Whisper White, and we're going to stamp that right about here. And then we're going to use a punch. All right. And it's a little crooked, but that's okay. I think we can punch it out and it might look all right. So let me close up my ink and push that off to the side. And I'm going to use the Timeless Label Punch. And this is just a very nice, plain, nothing fancy to it as far as feminine. So it could really be used for male or female. It is a little crooked, isn't it? Let's turn it over. That's the one thing I like about our paper. We can flip it over if we don't like what we stamped and do it again. So I think I need to put some wax on here. All right, so let's try this one more time. I'm going to, that one looks dirty, so let's try to do it right about here. Oh, I know why it's crooked, because it's crooked on my stamp. All right, hang on. I got another piece of paper. Let's try that. That's why. See, if you don't pay attention, it's crooked on, I've got it crooked on my stamp, so I've got to adjust my stamp a little bit. That's why it's crooked. So let me push that down one more time. There we go. See, it happens to the best of us, but it's all right. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and punch it out using this Timeless Label Punch. Whoops, dropping paper. All right, and we're just gonna line it up in here. Try to make sure that we've got it straight. Bear with me a minute while I try to center it. I've got to get some better lighting in here. My lighting is I'm showing shadows. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and punch this out, and we'll set all that off to the side. And then I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals that are around here. Here they are. And I'm going to place, now remember, because we want our sentiment to go here, so we don't want to put anything on this side. So I'm just going to put some dimensionals right here. And if you're just joining us, we are doing a double Z fold card. And I'm using Petal Pink as the base and the, oh gosh, what is it? The Essence paper, Perennial Essence, I think it is. And we've scored it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4, and then we made our Z fold, and then we did the same thing on a piece of Whisper White, which is 3 3/4 by 6 1/2, and you'll score it 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So I'm just going to pull off, I put 3 dimensionals on the back, and I'm just going to lay this down here, and isn't that cute? And I'm just going to lay it over just a little bit. Now, you know, you could also add something else to the front. You know, if you had a flower, if you want to stamp a flower or something, you could put something else on here. But I think that's a cute, quick card. What do you all think? Leave me a comment. So I just think this is really cute. I just love the different fun fold cards because, you know, we make cards and that open like a book, or we different ways. And I just love the different folds. So this one I thought was really simple. So I hope you all enjoyed that one. And again, I'll put the measurements, if you didn't get them when I was talking, I will put them up on the, when I put the video up later tonight. Okay. All right. Now the next card. So there's that one. All right. And we're going to do 2 cards tonight. We're going to do a Christmas card that we did in my we did my last holiday card class this weekend. Let me get all my stuff out. I had 7 ladies here. 2 were making calendars, 5 were making all the cards, and so we decided to make, we made 8 cards. We had a nice time, and we actually got it all done in our time frame that I allotted, so that was even better. So we were all pretty focused. Okay, so this is the card that we're going to make, and I cased this from somebody, and honestly, I don't remember who it was, so my apologies. But this, I just really liked it. We're using the toil, I think it's the toil paper that's got the barn, the house in the winter, and then it's got the animals and all that stuff. So what I'm doing, I used a piece of Very Vanilla, which is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and then I scored it at 5 1/2. Let me get my paper trimmer. Hold on. And I don't think I need it actually. And so I placed a piece of garden green on here, and that's 4 by 5 1/4. I went ahead on this one and I ran it through the Subtles Embossing Folder. I don't know if you can see the little lines through that. I think it just gives it a little something that make it stand out just a little bit. And then we're going to just use a little strip of the back side of the paper, not this one because the back side of this is the same, but one of the striped ones in that paper stack. And then we're using the sentiment from Gather Together. It has the sentiment, may the season bring you smiles and love that will last all year. So I thought that was really cute. Did you all, if you're not a demonstrator, well, it doesn't matter. Have y'all looked at the carryover list of what's going to carry over into the holiday card next year? And this, I think that's, some of these are going to be carrying over. So that's exciting. All right. So anyways, and then we're using the garden green striped, let's see, garden green, what is this called? Double stitched. So we've got that. And then these are rhinestones. And if you didn't know that, you can color these and make them any color you want. So that's what we're going to do here on this. And then I've used the layering ovals that have the little scallop dies as well. And then we're using this punch. I think this is the label bracket punch. This may be retired. And if it is, my apologies. When I do my card classes, I don't really think about if it's retired. I try not to use retired stuff, but sometimes it happens. So this is the card that we're going to make right now. Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side. And I think I've got everything cut, so I really don't think nope, I don't need my paper trimmer. Okay. All right, so we have our 4 1/4 by 11, and I didn't score this, but shame on me. But I'm just going to go ahead and fold it. It's one of the things that you can also do. Again, I line up my edges to make sure that they're even and they're not, a little off. And then I'll just bring it down and then bring my bone folder and just give it a good crease. All right, so that's what we're going to do there. And now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to place our Subtles garden green on top of the base. So I'm just going to add my adhesive to that. And you can use your multi-purpose glue if you preferred that. I use my snail. I've actually started using multi-purpose. I use it occasionally, but I don't like it, which I've probably mentioned quite a few times before. But I do like it because it does go on pretty, when you're doing a lot of, making a lot of cards, it does go a long way. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and set that on there. I think I've got it even. All right, so we're going to put that on there. Let me move this out of the way. Pardon me. Okay, now I went ahead, because I don't like to hold y'all up, so I went ahead and pre-cut all of this stuff so that you don't have to sit there and watch me do it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, and you know what I should have done before I glued this down, is we got to put our ribbon on here, so that wasn't very smart, was it? Thank goodness I don't put a lot of glue. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place this on here. Actually, I probably should have done this. Let me get my craft sheet, and we'll just do it. We'll build the card. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Okay, we'll build it on our craft sheet and then we'll put it on the card base. How's that? That'll probably be easier. Pardon me. If you don't have one of the silicone craft sheets, you need to get one. They're only $5 and they keep all your glue and everything off your paper. It doesn't stick to anything, so it makes it really nice. Okay, so we're going to build the card then, and hopefully I can get this in here and it's not going to be crooked. All right, so I'm going to place the piece of, and I'll put the measurements out. I'm not sure what size this is, to be honest with you. I think I just cut it. But I'll put the measurements out on when I post the video too. All right, so we're going to lay that there. And then now I'm going to do, rather than, didn't bring my ribbon scissors, and I knew that was the reason I made a point to do that. Sorry, I know, I apologize, I'm holding y'all up. I even said to myself, don't forget your ribbon scissors. Okay, rather than wrapping it around and kind of wasting, we're going to make what I call a cheater's bow. And I don't know what y'all call it, but all we're going to do is we're going to cut and we're going to wrap this underneath. And then we're going to cut another piece and make a bow. So I'm just going to flip this over. And I've already got some adhesive on it. So and I'm sure y'all have probably done this many times. Just fold over one edge of your ribbon and get it where you want it, and then you can tuck the other side over, and then adjust it if it's not straight. Let me turn it this way so I can see it. And I think that looks good. I'm just going to leave it like that because we'll put some more adhesive on the back when we get ready to finish up the card. Okay, now the next thing, I'm just going to cut another little piece of the ribbon, and which is probably too much right here. And I'm going to just tie a knot, and then I'll trim down my tails, and then so we're going to pull it through. Now, if you see how it's starting to make that, if you pull the left, see how I'm pulling the left one, and that's bringing that into the square knot. That's all you have to do. And sometimes I just kind of give it a little push every now and then just to make sure I get it in there straight, so it makes a nice knot. All right, so we're going to pull that, and the tighter you pull it, you can see that it starts to get a little, it comes up. And I'll use a little bit of a glue dot to hold that down once we get finished. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim that right there, and trim this right here. And then I think what I'll do, actually, is I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to tighten this side just a little bit to get that down. Okay, and I think that's pretty straight. Give me a minute. Let me just look at it. When you start getting lines going back and forth, it starts making your eyeballs kind of go, what in the world? Hang on a minute. Let me put a little bit, push this down. Make sure I got some good adhesive on it. Okay, so that's how we make our bow. And I'm sure y'all have done that before too. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, I punched out one of the layering circles in Very Vanilla, and I'm attaching the designer series paper to it just to give it a little bit of stability, because you know this is really flimsy, right? So I'm just going to attach that to that just so that it holds it down for me, and that way we can get it together. Now I'm using the the paper that has I punched this one out and I thought I did pretty good about, hang on a second, let me get this on here. I think that's right, we're going to cover it up. I've got the bear and the fox. And I tried to get most of the deer, but I had to chop off part of his head and a tree. So I thought that was a pretty nice section. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is, and I didn't bring my liquid glue, but that's all right. I cut out one of these scallops, so I'm going to place that over top of this, and I'm going to just use a little bit of adhesive to hold it on there, and then we're going to pop that up on dimensionals. So I'm just going to go around lightly adding a little bit of adhesive so I can get it to stick. But in this, normally I would use the liquid glue because it's easier to put it on here with small dots and not have to worry about your adhesive getting on the sides of the cardstock. All right, so we're going to lay this on top of here. And then actually what I'm going to do, let me pop this up on dimensional so that we can get it down on the card, and then we can get it to lay right. So I'm going to put 4 dimensionals on here. Never have enough of those. And we'll just pop these off. All right. Everybody's still there? And don't forget, oops, I said this earlier, but for those that have just joined, don't forget to leave a comment for me, and I'll put your name in a drawing. And then if you share I'll put your name in another drawing, so you'll get 2 different chances. So I'm going to put that right about there, and then I'm going to add this to the top so that we can give it, I did this a different way and had it below, but I really liked it on top. So we're going to lay it right on here, and let me get it light on here. All right, so we've got that on there. Let me tack it down. And I think my red circle is a little bit too big. I kept looking at it going, something does not look right, but we're going to leave it like that for now, and I'll just fix it later. And again, I'll put the dimensions on when I post the video. Okay, it is, you can tell I've got it a little bit, let me see if I can move it over. It looks like it's a little hair off, but we'll just poke it down. There we go. I think that's going to work. Okay, there we go. Perfect. I really like that. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we'll go ahead and add this to our card base. Now we can put it on the card base, and then we can finish up our card. So I've got my adhesive on there. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more adhesive here on the ribbon, and we'll go ahead and put a little bit more down since we've been sticking it. Okay, so we're going to lay this on here and pop that down. Oops, I got it crooked. See what happens? I got to stand up so I can see. I don't know what it is, but I have to do that. All right, so we're going to put this on here, and there we go. Perfect. Okay. All right, that's good. Now we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. Let me get that out. We're going to use I'm sorry, my dog is, this is her time that she goes for a walk, and now she's bugging me. She's like climbing on my lap. Excuse me 1 second. Go lay down. And this is her time, so when she's ready to go, she lets you know. All right, so we're using the Garden Green ink, and I'm just going to stamp that on here. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. And we'll stamp that right about there, and then we're going to punch that out. And it's a little crooked, but I think I can get it in the punch. So let me go ahead and punch this out. And that's, again, yep, I think we'll punch it like that. And then I'm going to use a sponge dauber. If y'all haven't used these, you really need, they're very inexpensive, but they do add a little bit of depth to your cards. So I'm just going to lightly, let me get my scrap here. I'm just going to lightly brush the edges with the sponge dauber, and you can put your finger in it. It just gives you the ability to hold it and manage it a little bit better. So I'm just going to go around the edges of this to give it just a little bit of color, so it's not so much of vanilla that's hanging out, okay? All right, so let me close this up. All right, and then we're going to put this up on dimensionals as well. So I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. Probably could put one on each side, actually, which would be on, let's try this. Let me see if we need, because I could probably, let me put on side, because these will hold where the ribbon is. So we're going to put 4 on this little guy. All right. So we are moving right along, getting 2 cards done. I hope y'all are enjoying this. All right, so we're going to put this one down right about in this area and just pop it down there. I want to make sure we do see some of that red. All right, there's our sentiment. Okay, almost done. So the next thing, do y'all notice how when I do my cards, this is really weird, and I should have caught myself. I always do my cards where my bows are coming towards me instead of down like this one. Do you all have that problem? I do. Okay, so we are now going to place our rhinestones, and then we're going to, and I'm going to have to pick these up with my little, all right, I'm using my ribbon scissors, which I shouldn't do, but I'm just going to pull these up with this because it's just easier. So I'm just going to take a rhinestone, and I'm going to place a couple of them on here. Let me just use my fingers if I can get to it. All right, so we're just, and these have adhesive backs to them if you're not aware of that. So we're going to put one there, and let's see, let's put 2 big ones, and then we'll do a smaller one, and then we're going to color them. I just find it easier to, let me put this on here, to color them if you're real careful. We're going to use a blend, we're going to use the Real Red blend and color it so it blends and matches the real red cardstock is what we're using. If I can get this off, we have fingernails, it creates a little bit of problem. Let me get my little peeky tool. It's right here. There we go. Get that on there. Let me pull this. And then I think we'll do a small one. Should have used that to begin with. Put one down here. How's that? All right. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to use, if you're not familiar with the blends, let me put my tool thing up so I don't poke myself. If you're not used to the blends, the Stampin' Blends, there's a small line that's like a writing pencil, and then there's a longer, a wider one, which is like a bigger tip that allows you to do a lot more coloring. I'm going to use the small tip because I don't want to get any red on my my card base. And these really, and when you close them, you got to be really careful, but they got to snap like that. But I'm telling you, they're hard to open. So, all right, so we're just going to take this and just color on top. And you can just color it to get it as dark as you want. And then you want to just let it sit for a few minutes so that it dries. Because it does take a few minutes for the blends to dry. So, see, so if you don't want to use just a plain old rhinestone, just get out one of your markers. You can use your Stampin' Write markers or use your blends. And you can blend and color to make your rhinestones the color that you want. All right, so there's that. Now, the inside of the card, I went ahead and, you know what I did? I used my piece that was for the inside of the card for my, let me grab another piece. Use that for the inside of my card. Hang on a minute. Let me grab another piece real quick. I was wondering why that piece was sitting there. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. See, we all make mistakes, and it's just, you gotta roll with it. But I thought this would be nice to add a little color to the inside of the card. So let me move that. We can always use that for something else. So let me cut a piece real quick for the inside. And most people cut theirs at 4 by 5 1/4. I like 3 3/4 by 5 for some reason. I don't know why, but I just do. I don't know, just the way I am. So, okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put that on top of the garden green. Now, the garden green is 4 by 5 1/4. Let me move this out of the way. So I'm going to attach this here. Now, this is going to make the card, probably a little bit heavier, but I think you should still be able to get away with just using regular postage. The one thing that I do, and that y'all may do this too, I would recommend when you mail something that's got like the dimensionals or the bows that kind of poke up, I use the old the postcards or the invitation things that we have if you want to host a party. I put a small piece or even like a piece of cardstock right on the top of that so that it doesn't poke through the envelope when it goes into the mail. And that will protect your card as well. Okay, so I'm putting this on here. Now I cut a piece of the paper that blends with my animals. So I got the bear and this one and the fox's head. So I'm just going to put this down at the bottom, and I've cut this at 3 3/4 just to give it a little something different inside the card. You always want to make sure you decorate the inside of your card. Let me get my mat here for just 1 second so I can put some ink on the edges. And but if you stamp the inside of the card or put a little piece of this, piece of your paper. So we're just going to lay this right down there. I'm going to leave just a small little gap of the Very Vanilla, and we'll just lay that right down. And then we're going to add that to the inside of our card, and then that makes it really pretty looking, so that when the recipient opens it, they're going to be really surprised with a cute part that's added to the bottom of their card. So I guess we would put it in the right way. All right, so we're going to go ahead and attach this here. And again, let me stand up so I can see to make sure that I get this thing in here. We want to get this right about there, and perfect. Okay, there we go. All right, so there is our second card. Isn't that cute? Now, I do think this one looks better with it's a light, this subtle, why they call it the subtle embossing folder, just gives it just enough of a little bit of a texture so it doesn't look plain like this one. So I really like that subtle textured embossing folder. So there is our other holiday Christmas card and our double Z fold card. So thank you guys for watching. And if you will, make sure you share my video for me. I will share it and leave a comment, and then I'll enter your name into 2 different drawings. For those that are coming in late, I ran out of time and completely forgot to draw for last week, so I will do that, and I'll put it on the site tomorrow once I post the cards. So here's the Z-fold card that I made this morning using Poppy Parade, and here's the one that we just made this evening. I just love this fold. I think it's just such an easy, and I think the person you send it to is just really going to absolutely love it. And then just another way that you can decorate the inside of your card with your designer series paper. So again, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you learned something. If there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. You can just reach out to me by message, or you can email me at dawn@shallwestamp.com. And thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And if I can help with anything, again, let me know. And if that is it, until next Tuesday, 7 p.m., we'll be here. All right, y'all, have a great rest of the week. And if you haven't gone to the online store, make sure you check out for the end of the year closeouts. They've got items that are closed out. Also, if you are not a Paper Pumpkin, or if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber or not, they do have some kits that are in there that are marked down as well. So now's a chance that you can take advantage of those as well too. All right, thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Thanks again. Bye-bye.